Yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing another Mortal Kombat review, and that will be of Raiden. Take a look at this electrifying boy right here. A little information about Raiden. Raiden is the Thunder God, and he leads Earthrealm in its defense against Shao Kahn and his Outworld. And he did a pretty good job of that, but eventually Shao Kahn just becomes more and more powerful. So Raiden pleads to the Elder Gods to create some kinds of means of defense against Shao Kahn. Thus, the Mortal Kombat tournament was created. The Mortal Kombat tournament's rules are this, is that Outworld and Earthrealm would constantly have a tournament against each other. If Shao Kahn wins 10 consecutive victories for Outworld, then he would be allowed to invade Earthrealm. And at the start of the game, he's won 9. Also during this game, throughout the story mode, Raiden is having visions from the future, from his other self, from a possible future. And this causes him to make various different decisions that change the outcomes of the Mortal Kombat. For example, the simplest is that Sub-Zero is turned cyber rather than Smoke is. So his decisions have major impacts on what happens in the Mortal Kombat universe. Eventually Shao Kahn says, you know what, screw it, I'm going to invade Earthrealm whether I win the Mortal Kombat tournaments or not. So what does he do? He invades Earthrealm. And Raiden allows it to happen. See, Raiden finds out that he needs to allow Shao Kahn to break the rules in order for the Elder Gods to actually act on a punishment. The Elder Gods empower Raiden and gives him the energy that he needs to take out Shao Kahn. And what does he do? He takes out Shao Kahn. And thus the game ends. However, it doesn't mean that he walks away unscathed. Almost all the Earthrealm defenders are killed, with the exception of Johnny Cage and Sonya. There's a lot Outworld people that are still like Reptile and Shiva. They're still good, they're going. And Scorpion and Quan Chi are perfectly fine. Of course, Scorpion's dead, so it's not like you can really kill him again. But Earthrealm took a heavy hit, mainly because of Sindel. But with that said, let's get into powers, abilities, personality. Powers and abilities. Well, Raiden is a god. He's the Thunder God. And he's ageless and immortal. Infinitely wise and very, very powerful. He's a skilled hand-to-hand combatant, and that's even augmented more by the fact he controls electricity. He can teleport, fly across the screen, shoot electric bolts, and do various different things to just make himself more and more powerful. So, Raiden can pack quite a punch. Personality-wise, Raiden is, I like to consider him kind of like a Greek god in that, although he's a god, he's not very detached from the world. He interacts with mortals, he gets angry, he gets happy, he gets upset. But despite all this, he's still infinitely wise, and he tends to make the best decisions for the group. So Raiden's very human in a sense, but at the same time, he's also, well, he's a god. So that's basically Raiden's personality. On to playing Raiden in the game. Raiden in the game is a character that's similar to Scorpion in that it tailors to your style. Raiden can be played several different ways, mainly because he has several different tactics. He has good long range, so you can do zoning. He can do close range very nicely. He has some really good combos that you can do. He has the best teleport in the game. What I mean by that is this. Raiden's teleport, you hit down, up, or up, down, I forget. I think it's down, up. And he teleports right behind the individual. Now, the reason why this is the best teleport is because, say you're using Scorpion and you teleport off the screen and back on. Someone sees you coming, they block, you're spinning in the air, and you're defenseless. Same could be said for another teleport like New Cybot. You use New Cybot's teleport, they see you coming, they're going to defend, you're stuck. Raiden's, they don't block. You're key to do whatever you want. You can grapple them, you can hit them. It makes Raiden such an effective character to use. So again, Raiden can be used in several different ways. His signature move is when he flies across the screen, he goes, which, you know, it's kind of funny. That voice is never like his voice in the story mode. But Raiden has a lot of flexibility in the game. However, unlike Scorpion, he's not as easy to pick up. Most of the characters are easy to pick up and learn, but Raiden's one of those characters you have to put a lot of effort towards, kind of like Kano. But once you put the effort in, my God, they are good. So Raiden is definitely one of the more top-tier characters in the game. I play Raiden very much like how I play Scorpion, in that I do kind of zoning. I kind of, you know, hit them with some projectiles to make them come close to me, teleport, get behind them, you know, do some combos. I use Raiden kind of like that. I actually, you'd be surprised, I don't use his across the screen quite as much. I use mostly his teleport and his shocking as his special moves, and then try to get in there with those combos. He also has a very effective X-ray. You need to be in the right place to hit with it, but it does more damage than some other ones. So, good X-ray. With that said, let's get into the actual figure itself. Now, here is Raiden, and I have to say, and be honest, out of all the figures that came out so far, the 3 of them, Raiden is the one that I was probably looking forward to the least, and that's why I got him last. In addition to that, Raiden is probably not one of my favorite characters. He's not within the top 10, but he does have a cool concept and a cool design, in that he looks like one of those Asian vagabond wanderers, you know, with the hat and everything. Many of his costumes throughout the years have kind of showed that, but you really get that sense with him, although he's still kind of a god, so you get kind of a royalty, regal-like look to him too. Despite all this, I was excited to get Raiden. Don't get me wrong, just because he's not one of my favorite characters and just because, you know, I wanted to get Scorpion and Sub-Zero first, doesn't mean I wasn't excited to get Raiden. I do like Raiden, and I do like his new costume. I think it looks a lot better than it did back in the day. Raiden only comes with one accessory, and that's his hat. And you can just take it off, and there's Raiden's face. Now, there's 3 major problems I have with this figure. Before I get into problems, the detail on the figure is very nice. You can see right there is his amulet. It's a sticker. It's not actually put on there. A lot of people have complained about that. It doesn't bother me that much because it still looks good. But he has a lot of detail on throughout his whole body. Let me see if I can turn the slide off and you can see it a little bit better. So you can see on there the shoulder pads, very nice detail on the arm, the legs. He has overall good detail. I do have 3 problems with him. The first and foremost is, and I've known a lot of people to have this, is on the top of his head. There's a big giant gold mark that comes from his hat. Now this is easily fixed. You can just kind of black marker it, because black is a very easy color to fix, but it's still something that's kind of annoying. Yeah. Second is, if you look at his face, it looks a little odd. Why? He has no eyebrows. Now, see, Scorpion can get away with it because, well, Scorpion doesn't have eyebrows, which is kind of odd. But, you know, and I'm adjusting my eyebrows now, but Raiden has eyebrows. Faint eyebrows, but he doesn't even have them in there. Look at that. His face also looks kind of pasty. Maybe it's just how the paint came on, but his face could be a little bit better. The mold isn't bad, it's just the paint job seems a little bit off. That, and the last problem is that the white stands out a little too much. I wish there was some kind of shadowing effect, or maybe some kind of dirt effect to make the white not quite as predominant, because it does take away from all the nice details that we see in the figure. But those are 3 problems, and that's about it. The figure itself still looks good. He looks a little silly with the hat off. Let me put the hat back on. There, he looks a little bit more badass with the hat on. And, you know, he has great articulation like all the other Mortal Kombat figures. So, that's good. Nice articulation. This little flap right here doesn't really damper the articulation. And the shoulder pads don't really damper it too much, although you're going to have to maneuver a little bit. It dampers it when you're trying to get the arm up, because it gets stopped right there. But besides that, the articulation is very nice. On a whole, although Scorpion is not my favorite figure in this wave, Scorpion still stands as my favorite. Not because he's my favorite character, just because the figure is so badass. Raiden's still good. He has good articulation, good detail. The biggest problem with him is he just has problems with him. Sub-Zero had really no problems. Scorpion really had no problems. The figures were great. Flawless figures! Flawless victory. But, Raiden does have its problems here and there. Some of them are manageable, but some of them just stand out. And you really don't notice the eyebrows that much when you have the hat on, but it's still something that kind of bothers me. But on the whole, the figure does look good, and I do recommend getting it. I'm curious to see what comes in the other waves. I know Johnny Cage is going to be in wave 2. The figures I do want to see come out, and some of these won't, but I do want to see Katana, Melina, Noob Saibot, Kano, and I would love to have Scarlet thrown in there. I would like also have a Cyber Sub-Zero and also a Reptile, but maybe that's asking for a lot. We know Johnny Cage is going to come out sometime towards the end of the summer probably, but I really want a Scarlet figure. Scarlet's my third favorite character. Scorpion's my favorite. I love Noob. He's awesome. And then I love Scarlet. But with that said, Raiden, great character to play, great character in general. The figure is good. Not as good as the others, but still worth picking up. Get it at Toys R Us because it's cheaper there than if you went to Newbury Comics of sorts. And one last thing is just be careful that the hat isn't bent because most of the figures I saw at the store had bent hats. This one's even slightly bent. You probably won't notice it. It's more towards the back. But just be careful the hat being bent. But with that said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.